First, what I would like, if you don't mind, telling me your name and your title and how to spell out your name as well.
Kelly Herzet, Butler County Sheriff, Kellyherzet.
Okay, so Sheriff Herzet, today we're talking about a missing persons case, a child that went missing in your community many years ago, Adam Herrman. Walk me through how you all found out that he was missing.
Well, how we found out he was missing was one day we received a call from Wichita that they had gotten the report from EMCU that a lady had come in and reported what she thought to be, or who was her adopted brother, had went missing. She had held it in for quite some time and finally came forward when she finally had her own children and wanted to introduce her children to Adam. And she had went to a friend and asked about Adam, and the friend had told her through records that Adam was still living with her biological mother and father. And she says, no, he's not. We were told several years ago that Adam was taken back by the state and placed back in foster care. And one thing led to another, and it was determined through that interview and or through that discussion over the telephone that the case probably was Butler County's because he was last seen at the trailer park in Towanda.
Hearing news like that, what's going through your mind initially? I know it's so long ago, it feels like probably to reflect back, but this has been a case that's been so important to you in this department.
Absolutely. It's been 10 years now.
Yeah.
Since I received that call that day back in investigations that this little boy has went missing, and we're already 10 years behind because it's already been 10 years when we received the call and Wichita received the call.
Right.
So where do you start? You know, you start, I guess, with just putting the pieces together. It's like a giant puzzle, and you want to put the pieces together, and it's very time-consuming, and it's hard to work when you're so far behind before you even get started.
Through the years, I'm sure you've had several tips from people, or have you, and what has come of those?
We have had hundreds of tips. We even had a donation at one time of $50,000 and then was bumped up to $100,000 by a generous donor, person that wanted to donate that had nothing to do with the case, but had been following it through the media and had the money to give and put the money up. It helped. It generated some tips, but it still hasn't led us to the remains, and I call it remains because I really believe that Adam is gone. He is deceased, and I don't think he ran away like his adopted mother and father said. We've tried everything that you can manage to imagine to try to find him, and nothing. So it tells me, and common sense I think would tell anyone too, that he's gone. And where his remains are is what we would like to find. Justice for Adam. That's what we really need.
It's heartbreaking, though, to think about. Like, I've read through it, and to be honest, I haven't looked through all of our footage yet, but I will. The things that I've read about Adam and the history of the family and treatment of him, it just sounds, I mean, it's just a terrible story to hear.
Absolutely. I don't think little Adam had a chance from the time he was born. There was problems with his biological mother. The reason he was taken away from her and then put with the Herrmans, and then the way that Valerie Herrman and Doug Herrman treated him, it didn't get any better. And it was hidden by the family for years and years. And it's hard to fathom how you can go to someone's home and see this little boy being abused and being kept in the bathroom and not being tended for, and then be able to go home and back to your own home and go to bed and not call law enforcement, going, hey, someone needs to go check this out. Something's not right here. But it was kind of a hidden secret, I guess, of that family, and it went on for years until I believe he finally died or was starved to death or was killed. So I don't know. There's still a lot of unanswered questions that we need answers for, and we just need to keep moving forward with the case. It's not a cold case in Butler County. It's still an active case.
With the passing of Adam's adoptive dad, has that complicated or challenged things for you all with this investigation, to have one person who I think it's fair to say, who could be helpful with finding Adam?
Well, I think it has complicated the case some. But I firmly believe that Valerie knows, and I firmly believe that some of the children might know a little more than what they were wanting to tell. I can understand wanting to protect your parents. But on the other hand, too, you've got to remember that this was a little boy, 8 or 9 years old, that suffered a lot through the hands of Valerie and Doug. And family members seen that and waited really too long to come forward until he was already gone. It's tough. It really is.
Had anything been reported to your office at all in regard to him before, like the abuse and all that stuff?
Nothing had been reported to our office. It's one of the reasons they moved to Butler County. They were running from the abuse allegations from Derby and from SRS. Adam had been taken out of the home, placed in the Wichita Children's Home around Thanksgiving, but then was sent back home. And I feel by what we've investigated and what we know through all the reports that's when Valerie and Doug ran. They thought, we've got to get out of Sedgwick County or Derby. We've got to move. So they moved to the mobile home park over in Towanda. Said they were going to homeschool Adam, which I don't believe. He lived long enough to be homeschooled. But that way he didn't go back to school, and the teachers and faculty didn't see the bruises and the sores on his feet and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought that was strange that the other siblings went to public school, but the family said that he was going to be homeschooled.
Absolutely.
A little different.
And if you look at any pictures of Adam, which we've gathered several, he always seems to have on a long sleeve flannel shirt, long pants, because the abuse, the pinching and the different things that was done to him. She covered those up by wearing long sleeve shirts. And if you even look at some of the pictures close enough, you can see a black eye, but it's kind of covered up by the reflection of his glasses. But yeah, it's hard to believe that this could go on in a family and somebody, and I'm not blaming the kids, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Kids are kids and they have a life, and we want to believe in our parents and what they do is right. But there was adults that knew about this.
Right, that's what I heard.
And didn't step forward and call the authorities at the right time, or we might have Adam here today. But we don't, so we keep hoping for that tip that will get us to where we can find Adam's remains and we can get justice.
What does it mean to you to hear about something like this happening within Butler County, within your community?
Well, it's devastating. I mean, when this all happened, I was a patrolman. I worked Towanda. I was in Towanda several times. I know a lot of people in Towanda. Doesn't reflect on the people in Towanda. Back in 1998, 1997, kids played outside and rode bikes, and everybody knew everybody's kids, and things are different in smaller towns than they are some of these bigger towns. But I never ran across little Adam when I was working patrol. Maybe I wish I would have, but I didn't. But he was pretty well kept at home most of the time, away from everybody else.
Right now, I know, I mean, you talked about how soon you're talking about retirement. What would it mean to you to be able to close this? Is this like a top priority, or, you know, for you, of all the things that you want to have complete or figured out by the time you?
Well, this is one of those cases that you take with you every day. I think about Adam Herrman every day. We have a picture of Adam in our lobby. We talk about Adam in investigations. When I go back into investigations, you know, it's fresh on our minds, even though we took the report 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we've exhausted about all of our leads. We've been all over the country. We've searched all over Butler County. We've asked the public for help. We've put up donations. But I still have faith that we'll get that call, and we'll get that one little tip that we need to get us to where we need to be to find Adam Herrman's remains and to get justice for him.
And you think that key is with the family?
I really do think that key is with the family. But I am willing to, I want to reach out to anybody that might remember something or might have seen something or heard something. I know it was a long time ago.
Sure.
But sometimes you can, something will tell you to call, you know. Actually got a call yesterday from a man that said he was out riding his four-wheeler quite a few years ago, and he ran across a pile of dirt that he had never seen before. And he's lived with this for over 10 years, and he called yesterday. He said it had been bothering him. So we're going to follow up on that.
Yeah.
You know, that gives me hope.
Yeah.
You know, I have hope every day that that phone will ring, and it'll be the right little tip we need, and we can get justice for Adam.
Is there anything else that you think is important to mention that maybe I didn't